महाराज की जय, Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। Nama Om Meshtaparai Krishnavastaya Bhutarish Mad Bhakti Vedanta Samani Dinamani Namaste Saraswati Deva Guruvani Vracharina Nirvishesha Shunavari Paschartarishta. Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Sadhurasata Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Asaturasata Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sako Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadi Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari 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 Bol. All glories to the Assembly devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Assembly devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Assembly devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Paraya Krishna Murti Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Deva Guruvani Mracharina Nirvishesha Shunavari Vachadrish. Hare Krishna. Please write Hare Krishna into the comment section right now. Don't delay. John Garrett, welcome back, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Donald Trump is cleaning up the house. Shamdai Mataji, Hare Krishna. Rudra Prakash. Danny. Morning and evening, Danny. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Ivan, Hare Krishna. Shamdai. Oh, already said, okay. Gabriela, Hare Krishna, Gabriela. 28 viewers on YouTube, on Facebook. Unbelievable. Pinch me. Doris. Maitreya is here, right here.
Haribo.
Jitesh Joshi, Hare Krishna. Sajit Morkots. Sharia Sitara, Hare Krishna. Sharia. She's been watching also for a long, long time. Tony, Hare Krishna, Tony. I missed you again. And you back. Very nice. Hare Krishna, Tony. Anand Naidu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Anybody else? Who's on TikTok? Prabhu? Prabhu? Raghunandan. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Raghunandan.
On TikTok.
29 viewers. Hamsini. Hare Krishna.
Louis Alfonso Leon. He's actually like, I remember this.
Yeah, I remember Louis. Yeah. From Facebook.
Yeah, he's preaching here.
Good.
That's
Umesh
nice.
Adhikari.
Susan, she's a regular, I know. Susan,
yes, Susan. Hare Krishna, Susan.
There's a person here, Patrick De Bruyen. He's number one. He's a number one gifter. He's like a very experienced TikToker on our page, apparently.
Okay, thank you, Patrick.
Halez says, bring tears to my eyes with this beautiful song.
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna. Who's that?
Halez.
Hales, okay.
Louis says, just slight opinion, maybe turn the guitar down little so we can hear mantra better. Namaskaram.
Okay. Sorry. We don't have a sound designer. If you're interested, the job is available.
Okay, and there's also Frank Tratniek from Australia.
Frank.
Somehow I am drawn to this Hare Krishna, but my TikTok content is morally in conflict.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Satish Baga. Hare Krishna, Satish. 31 viewers on Facebook. Unbelievable. Let's make it 50.
One user wants us to say the chant slowly.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai. Hales is Hali. It's Hali.
Okay, Hali Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Louis says that he wants.
Hali has been with us for 5 years.
Amazing. Our longest supporter. Longest friend.
5 years, a half a decade of dedication to bliss. Thank you, Harley Prabhu. I was just recently watching the pictures I have saved on my hard drive, and I saw Ali's altar there, with our books, No Time,
Wow, such a long
and
time.
Ishopanishad.
Also, Louis says he'll be with us very soon. He's drawn to the group.
Okay. How many viewers?
There are 18 viewers.
18 viewers.
Consistently.
Unbelievable.
Consistent.
Unbelievable. I can pinch me.
Okay.
All right. Very good, Prabhus, Matajis. Thank you for coming. Bhagavad-gita as it is, class. 9th chapter, text 15. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It's
9:15. 9:15. 9, text 15. Jnana yagena chapi anye.
1 second, please. Jnana yajena chapyanye.
Yajanto mamupasati.
Yajanto mamupasate.
Ekatvena pratatvena.
Ekatvena prathatvena.
Bahudva vishvato mukham.
Bahudha vishvato mukham. Jnana yagena chapyanye.
Jnana yagena chapyanye.
Yajanto mamupasate.
Yajanto mamupasati.
Ekatvena prathatvena.
Ekatvena pratatvena.
Bahudha vishvato mukham.
Bahuda vishvato mukham. Jnana yagena.
Jnana yagena.
By cultivation of knowledge.
By cultivation of knowledge.
Cha.
Cha.
Also.
Also.
Api.
Api.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Anye.
Anye.
Others.
Others.
Yajantaha.
Yajantaha.
Worshipping.
Worshipping.
Mam.
Mam.
Me.
Me.
Upasati.
Pasate.
Worship.
Worship.
Ekatvena.
Ekatvena.
In oneness.
In oneness.
Prataktvena.
Prataktvena.
In duality.
In duality.
Bahuda.
Bahudha.
Diversity.
In diversity.
Vishvata mukham.
Vishvataha mukham.
In the universal form.
In the universal form.
Translation. Others who are engaged in the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, diverse in many and in the universal form. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
This verse is the summary of the previous verses. Hare Krishna, Marcus Thompson. The Lord tells Arjuna that those who are purely in Krishna consciousness and do not know anything other than Krishna are called Mahatma. Yet there are other persons who are not exactly in the position of Mahatma, but who worship Krishna also in different ways. Some of them are already described as the distressed, the financially destitute, the inquisitive, and those who are engaged in the cultivation of knowledge. But there are others who are still lower, and these are divided into 3. 1. He who worships himself as one with the Supreme Lord. 2. He who concocts some form of the Supreme Lord and worships that. And 3. He who accepts the universal form, the Vishvarupa of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and worships that. Out of the above 3, the lowest, those who worship themselves as the Supreme Lord, thinking themselves to be monists, are most predominant. Such people think themselves to be the Supreme Lord, and in this mentality they worship themselves. This is also a type of God worship, for they can understand that they are not the material body but are actually spiritual soul. At least such a sense is prominent. Generally, the impersonalists worship the Supreme Lord in this way. The second class includes the worshippers of the demigods, those who by imagination consider any form to be the form of the Supreme Lord. And the third class includes those who cannot conceive of anything beyond the manifestation of this material universe. They consider the universe to be the supreme organism or entity and worship that the universe is also a form of the Lord. Om Agyandirinandasya Gyanajana Shalakyam Chakshunanmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti-vedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto His lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
And Hare Krishna to Deepak Malhur Koli, to Krishna Manmohini Dasi Mataji, Narasingh Rao and Nidhi Parashar. Thank you for coming. So Krishna, he described the possession of a real Mahatma, not a rubber stamp Mahatma, a real Mahatma. Mahatmanas tumam parta daivim prakritim ashrita. The real Mahatma is already beyond the purview of the influence of the material energy. He is taking shelter, daivim prakritim ashrita, of the spiritual energy. We have to serve either material energy or the spiritual energy. The difference between a conditioned soul and a Mahatma is that the Mahatma is taking shelter of Krishna's spiritual energy for the service of Krishna. And a materialistic person is taking shelter of the material energy. Just like you can see so many people, they're running after money. Money, this is the material energy. They think money will save me. What is Krishna nonsense? Speaking some Bhagavad-gita, some live stream. I have to make money. This will not save me. They think like this. This will not save me. I must save my life. So I will work hard and I will eat and sleep and have a good time. So Mahatma understands, realizes, he has assimilated this point. I am not this body. And because he has a full realization of his spiritual nature, he engages in devotional service to the Supreme Soul, Sri Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Soul, we're the minute soul. When the minute soul serves the Supreme Soul, he becomes happy. So, Mahatmanas tumam parta, daivim prakritim ashrita. Bhajanti ananya manas means worship of Krishna. Ananya manaso. Without any deviation of the mind. Just like when you chant japa, Hare Krishna, Krishna, you have the experience, those who are chanting regularly, then the mind is diverting. Think of this, think of that. Think of so many problems. Think of Mr. Trump. Think of Mr. Biden or Schmeiden or whoever. So a real Mahatma, he can fix the mind on Krishna without any deviation. Ananya manaso yatva bhutadim avyayam. They know Krishna as original, adim, and avyayam means inexhaustible. Krishna is not an ordinary man. Ordinary man is exhaustible very easily. You just take a jog around the block, you become very easily exhausted. But Krishna is the source of all energy, unlimited. Just like the sun is radiating so much sunshine. The sun never comes here that please pay me bills. He is distributing freely. Take. Similarly, Krishna, he is producing energy unlimitedly without any exhaustion. So, because the Mahatma, he understands this, he is attaching himself to Krishna, not to the material energy. Material energy is also eternal, but the manifestations of that material energy, just like this material world or this material body, they're temporary. If you take shelter of these temporary manifestations, you'll be disappointed. You'll be unhappy. Then Krishna explains, Satatam kirtayantomam yatantascha dadavrata namasyantam chamam bhaktya nityayukta upashati. These great Mahatmas, the great souls, they always chanting Krishna's glories. When Srila Prabhupada met John Lennon here in England, John Lennon, he asked him, how can I know which version of the Bhagavad-gita is bona fide? Because you, Swamiji, you say that yours is bona fide, as it is bona fide. But there's so many others, commentators. So how do I know who is the real Guru? So Prabhupada, he says, the real Guru must be Krishna-haunted. He must always talk about Krishna without deviation. Those who are not devotees or those who are not first-class devotees, they cannot keep the mind on Krishna. Krishna cannot be subjected by the control of a materialistic mind. If you think that with my material mind I can grasp the idea of Krishna, oh, Krishna will give you a very, very hard time. Krishna will escape. No, you cannot catch me. Just like he escaped from the Rasa Lila dance. The gopis, they thought, we're the most fortunate women in the whole universe. We're the best. So Krishna did not appreciate that kind of attitude and it disappeared from the Rasa dance. So similarly, if your attitude is like this, I want to conquer Krishna, you cannot fix the mind on Krishna. So the Mahatma is very, very humble. He understands, I am not the source of any energy, nor is this material world the source of it. The source of energy is Krishna, and if I surrender to Krishna, He will give me unlimited energy to serve Him. Yatantascha dudavrata. They're serving with firm conviction. Dudavrata. Vrata means vow. We should make a vow, we should make determination. Yes, I want to become a pure devotee in this life. Such determination is needed. Generally speaking, we have no such determination. We don't even have the determination to come to the temple or to pick up the beats and chant or to speak of going back home, back to Godhead. When the soul goes back home, the soul penetrates all the 7 layers of the universe, 10 layers. This is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Thousands and thousands of miles of coverings. It's like this Russian doll, Matryoshka. You have heard this? You've seen?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a doll within a doll within a doll within a doll. So that is the material universe. Where they got the Russians the idea from. This description of the material universe is covered by so many layers. So when the spirit soul goes back home, back to God, he has to pass through all these layers. This is not a joke. Such a journey, easy journey to other planets. So you have to have Dudavrata. We have to train just like the astronauts or the soldiers. Before they go to battle or before they go to space, they practice, they exercise. So this bhajan, this sadhana bhakti, this is a practice. Srila Prabhupada says we're declaring war against Maya. So first of all, we have to go into the boot camp. That is the temple. That's the association of the devotees. That is the following of the regulative principles. This is all a boot camp. It is not that we should take this as a goal to become a member of some temple or some association or to follow the rules and regulations very strictly. No, this is the training. The real challenge is to take this training, develop such strong determination so we can penetrate all these layers of the material universe and take shelter in our original home, Vaikuntha Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna does not want any disturbance in Goloka Vrindavan, Prabhupada says. So the attitude must be improved. We must have devotional attitude. That is what counts. So now, of course, not everyone can do like that. Most of us here, we're duratmas, very dull-headed, very, very crude souls. Actually, the soul is pure, but because of the association with the modes of material nature, we have become contaminated by all these nonsense, desires, attachments, and so on, so on. So, first of all, there are the 4 materialistically inclined devotees. Those who are after knowledge, those who are curious, those who want relief from distress, those who want monetary amelioration, improvement in their financial situation. So they approach also Krishna, but they have a motive. But it is good, because they approach Krishna. They understand the relationship. He is the supreme. He is the source of all benedictions. I am minute. Therefore my duty is to pray to Him. That we see within all these religious groups, major religions in the world. They approach God like that, begging, in a begging way. God, you forgot to give me a new car. God, you forgot this, so I'm praying to you to remind you. Now we're giving, just like you getting notifications on your Facebook, so they're thinking, oh, I must write a notification for Krishna because he's absent-minded and he forgot to give me my benedictions. But that is still good. The challenge for these type of devotees is to stay in Krishna consciousness, God consciousness. That is the challenge, because Krishna might as well fulfill your material desire. But when your desire is fulfilled, then you can leave Krishna consciousness very easily. Srila Prabhupada talks about the example of German women. Maybe some of you know this example. During Second World War, all the brothers, husbands, fathers, sons, they went to war to fight. And all the women, they went to church. Please God, save my brother, save my father, save my son, save my husband. And you know very well in Germany, Germany lost the war. So there was a massive butcher house, slaughterhouse. All the men, they got killed, nobody returned. Maybe few returned, but majority they died. So when the women, they saw this, they concluded, I have prayed so much to God and I get nothing, so let me kick out God. And that's why so many women, they became atheistic in Germany about God. They're simply interested in their sense gratification. Just like a dog. Dog also has knowledge. He knows where the bone is. He knows when the master will give him food. But that is a knowledge of ordinary animal. We're teaching at universities, sophisticated scientific approach, so many things. But ultimately, the motive, we have to look at the motive. What is the motive? Eating, sleeping, sex, fighting. That's all. No higher knowledge. Simply what you can see, what you can taste. We're approaching these transcendental subject matters by hearing. Hearing from the transcendental professor. The spiritual master is a transcendental professor. And he is channeling the information from the spiritual world, from the transcendental world. This is what we're doing here. And there must be transcendental world, because all of us, we feel limitations in this world. The fact that you feel limitations means that you have the inner memory of the unlimitedness. Otherwise, you would not feel limited. You can only feel limited if you know what unlimited freedom is. So that is with Krishna. So how to approach this unlimited dimension? You have to take shelter of transcendental professor, the spiritual master. And by his guidance, you come to understand. This is the reason why we should come to the Guru. Not to get material benefits, not to become part of some group, but to get transcendental knowledge. Tadvidi pranipatina pariprashnena sevaya uparikshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadashina. 2 times the word jnana has been mentioned in that verse. Just try to approach a bona fide spiritual master with submission and inquiry, and render service unto him. He will impart knowledge unto you, because he has seen the truth. He is Mahatma. He is Ananya Bhak. What is that? Ananya Manasa. Manaso. Bhajanti Ananya Manaso. His mind is crystal clear, Krishna conscious. He knows the Siddhanta perfectly. Such a spiritual master is worthy of surrendering our whole life to. That just like our Srila Prabhupada. The bona fide spiritual master. If you hear from him, you get the knowledge about God. What is the real understanding of God? He is not our order supplier. We're supposed to be his order supplier. We should serve him causelessly. So these materialistically inclined people, if they come to the position of a jnani, then they can develop further into a pure devotee. Otherwise they may reject Krishna consciousness and take up their old ways again. That we have to be very careful. Maya is always waiting to capture. Oh, now he is attentive. Let me eat him. Let him eat him alive. Maya has 2 potencies. The pulling potency and the dragging potency. We're being pulled away from the devotee association. And then there's I made a mistake. There's a pulling and there's a covering potency of Maya. So when we are out of devotee association, Maya covers us by forgetfulness and with material attachments and desires. Always remain in the devotee association. So besides these, now Krishna explains, there are others who are engaged in the cultivation of knowledge, worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, diverse in many and in the universal form. So yeah, they also worship Krishna in knowledge, but their knowledge is stolen by Maya. Maya pratagyana. That is useless knowledge. This impersonal knowledge is useless knowledge, misguided knowledge. It is necessary, but it is also misleading. It is necessary in the sense that Srila Prabhupada says, this is also a type of God worship, for they can understand that they are not the material body, but are actually spiritual soul. At least such a sense is prominent. Those who think that they're God, they're the most prominent, actually. You see all these swamis, gurus, bogus swamis, yogis, Sadguru, Madguru, whatever. They all say God is, we cannot discuss about God. It is beyond the words. It is something beyond, something impersonal, some force. Or they use the word divine. We're all part of the divine. So all this vague terminology means that he himself thinks he is God. Although it does not seem like that, but actually they think they're God. Why? Because if God is impersonal and he does not have a form, then where is your form coming from? Where is your personality coming from? That's the next question. How come we're separate? I'm talking to you right now. We're separate. You coming, you hearing, you listening. I'm not you. You are not me. We're separate. So how come? How come we're separate? How can you explain this? If everyone is God, how come we're separate? So they say, oh, actually this separation is Maya. This is how they argue. We Vaishnavas, we don't acknowledge this. This is not our philosophy, that it is Maya. It is not Maya. Krishna says, Natu evam chatunasam, natvam nemi janadipa, nachayvana bhavishyama, sarvavayam ata param. Krishna himself, he declares, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings. And in the future, it will remain like that. I will be individual, you will be individual, everyone will be individual. Our individuality is eternal. And that is confirmed by the Upanishads. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko baunam yo vidadati kaman. Eko means that one Krishna is supplying all the necessities to all the bahunam, all the many living entities. That is always there. So these impersonalists, in order to justify their nonsense, they say, this is what we have, this separation, this is Maya. Just ignore it. We're actually all God. See how important it is to know the concrete information about who is God? When Srila Prabhupada wanted to register his society, some of his disciples, they objected. They said, no, Swamiji, don't put Krishna, put God consciousness. International Society for God Consciousness. And Prabhupada, he refused. He said, I will not compromise like this. Otherwise, they will bring so many gods. Because the idea of God is not understood. We don't know who God is. It's nothing but a concept. G-O-D, it's a concept. Nobody knows. It's the Creator. It's the Father. That's all. That's all you know about God. You know nothing about God. So how can you become a lover of God? That is what all the different religions are teaching. How to love God. Love is the most beautiful quality that we all have. We can give love to someone else. So do you think that should not be given to God? Of course, that's where it belongs. That loving propensity becomes complete when we direct it towards God. But if you do not know what is His name, what is His form, what is His character, what does He do, who He is, how can you love? How can you love a concept? We have a concept of, let's say, imagination. There is no such a thing as imagination. You cannot show me imagination. It's a concept. It's an ability. Can you love imagination itself? No. You can love things that you imagine. Okay, you can imagine your girlfriend, boyfriend, that's okay. But the very act of imagining, you cannot love that. Similarly, you cannot love the concept of God. You can only love what that concept represents or whom. That is Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Very clear description in the Vedic literatures are given. Who is Krishna? Who are His associates? What are His potencies? How He creates? How He enjoys? How He is transcendental? How He is not subject to the laws of karma? How He is free from the influence of the material energy? All of these things. So people don't understand. They simply want to deny. I'm not suffering. It's Maya. I'm simply in Maya for the time being. When I become liberated, I become God. So that credit we give them, okay, at least you understand that you are not this body. Okay, that's good. You have become frustrated as opposed to the materialists who don't understand anything. They think body is all in all. So at least that idea you have. But it is not going very far. Actually, the reason why we have taken birth in this material world, because we have this same disease, I want to be God. That is why we have fell down. Because we have become envious of Krishna, of God. I also want to be like Krishna. And that you cannot. So what do? Go to the material world. Here we go. Here we are. So those who think like this, that I am God, no different, and they're worshipping themselves in the mirror or whatever, they're the greatest fools. Because they're simply nurturing that original envious mentality. That mentality is very bad for devotional service. If you think you're God, you cannot submit to anyone. And submission is required. A lot of submission is required. In order to develop this Dridhavrata, this firm determination to penetrate all the layers of the universe and come back to Godhead, you have to know the science. You have to know how to disentangle yourself from the material energy. So that you have to learn from those who are liberated. The spiritual master must be liberated. He knows the science. But in order to assimilate this fine science of how to get out of this material world, you have to follow all his instructions. We're very dull-headed, very gross, because we have been enjoying in this material world with matter for millions of lifetimes. So the dull-headed, he cannot understand, he cannot appreciate the fine points of this Krishna conscious philosophy. So the way how to train the mind is to follow all the different instructions the Guru tells us. Then the brain starts working. Daivi prakriti ashuta. Then the brain starts working according to the spiritual dictation. And then Krishna starts guiding you. Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Buddhi yogam dadamitam yena mam upayantite. If you serve Krishna, if you serve the Guru with love and devotion, Krishna will supply all the intelligence. You'll be able to appreciate and assimilate the points of the philosophy very easily and put them in practice. So these are the three groups. One who worships himself as God, he is the lowest. One who concocts some form of the Supreme Lord, just like all these Ramakrishna and all these rascals. Actually, Shankaracharya, he gave only 5 gods for his followers to worship. But nowadays they say, oh, you can worship any god. And there's the one Swami, famous Swami. He said that even you can worship your own stool. See, this philosophy of oneness, if it's unhinged, then it results in these extreme grotesque caricatures. He's saying you can worship your stool. It's as good as worshipping a deity. Such a dull-headed rascal. Unfortunately, in India, he's respected as the greatest hero, greatest spiritual hero. Instead of worshipping our Srila Prabhupada, who is the real hero, they worship such a rascal. What can be done? Preaching has to be done. We have to preach. They cannot appreciate because devotees themselves, they're lacking appreciation for Srila Prabhupada. So, no. It is not like that. Krishna is Krishna, you are. Don't try to imitate Krishna, rascal. And there are those who accept the universal form, the Vishwarupa of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and worship that. Just like the materialistic scientists. Oh, as a universe has told me, universe this, universe that. You think that this universe came by accident? Everything came together by accident? How foolish such a philosophy is. But they also have to acknowledge some higher power, even if they say nature. That is also a form of God worship. So it's a step step further in advancement. But we should not stay on that step because it's a foolish step. We should directly come to Krishna consciousness and come back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Any questions? Keep them coming. Questions welcome. Write them in a comment section and I will answer.
Someone's asking what you meant. Can you repeat the thing about worshipping 5 gods?
Yeah, Shankaracharya, he recommended 5 gods only, not at any god. For the impersonalists, because see, even the impersonalists, they cannot give up this form. It is so unnatural to worship the formless. How do you think of the formless? You can't even think of the formless. How you want to worship that? So in order to help them, he restricted them to 5 demigods. Sun God, Durga Devi, Ganesh, the impersonal Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. So they worship like that, but then they, at one point, they give up the worship. They think it's lower class. It's actually the other way around. The impersonal worship is lower. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Sabhyate. This Brahman, impersonal Brahman, is coming from Bhagavan. Okay, Red Willow is thanking for good crushing. Very good. Krishna Prema.
There's no question from Krishna Prema. Oh.
Yeah. You want to read that?
Oh my god.
I read that.
You spoke okay.
Yeah, go.
You spoke about how to spot a Mahatma and gave the example of chanting japa and how easily one's mind can pull one away. Japa is very personal and sometimes people say they are being attentive even though outwardly they might not look attentive. How to understand this?
No. I didn't say japa, that you cannot detect. I said just like japa. You can perceive your own mind, how it travels. So similarly, a person who is a Mahatma, he cannot deviate from the subject of Krishna consciousness. He always talks about Krishna. That you see in the example of Srila Prabhupada, how much recordings we have. And Prabhupada only spoke about Krishna and things related to Krishna consciousness. His conversations, this whole body of recordings, is the proof of his transcendental nature. But you have to read them.
She also asks, you said something to the effect of, if I surrender to Krishna, he will give me unlimited energy to serve him. Often devotees wish they did not get so tired, so they could save all their time and serve instead of sleeping. How to surrender to Krishna so he gives more energy? Sometimes I pray to be able to wake up earlier and read, but when I wake up at that time, I feel unable or I'm scared that it will mess me up later on in the day. Any thoughts on this?
Go to bed earlier and eat less. Prabhupada says if you eat less, you sleep less. But be patient. Also, don't do anything extreme. We gradually go to that platform, not immediate. If you do immediate, then the body can get a shock. Be natural. Don't be superficial. The body needs to rest, so you take rest. But the body needs to eat, you eat. But don't overeat and don't oversleep. This can be very nicely done. If you rise early in the morning, attend the Mangalartik, you minimize sleeping. And if you take Krishna Prasadam and nothing but Krishna Prasadam, your eating habit is also curtailed. So just do these activities. Don't be too much eager to immediately become advanced. If you can stick with this, then gradually you will become, very powerful.
Someone else is asking, well, that's not related. She asks, maybe you can't love a concept, this is Krishna Prema, maybe you can't love a concept, but can you love a feeling, like the way imagination feels, or how a connection with
you
God?
Cannot, that's not love, that's called sense gratification. If you love your feeling, I feel good. Everybody else in the room is suffering, but you feel good. A psychopath, he kills everyone, he feels very good. Is that love? That's not love, that's selfishness. That's sense gratification. Love is between two people. Next.
No good questions on TikTok, all dull-headed.
Don't ask dull-headed questions, ask reasonable questions. You have a human form of life, use it. Use your brain. Don't misuse it. Don't be duskatina.
They don't know how to ask questions according to the class, because most of them are just talking throughout the whole class, unfortunately.
That's useless. It's crazy. If a person comes here and talks without any connection, it's a crazy person.
Yeah, the most related question here
Autism. This is autistic. You have seen Rain Man, that movie?
No.
Autistic, yeah. Autistic person, he talks to himself.
Right. Yeah, that's a lot of people on TikTok are like that.
You think maybe I am autistic, but there are so many devotees who are hearing and asking questions. You can say I'm autistic, but why are they hearing me then?
Someone asks, the most related question is, can you define God?
God, why? You don't know what God is? Very simple. God is the Supreme Personality. Are you the Supreme Personality? No. Very easy. Supreme Personality, His order cannot be challenged. He makes a decision, nobody can change the decision. If God wants you to die tonight, you cannot change that. That's God. Your decision can be changed very easily. You want something, but the material nature, circumstances do not allow. That's the difference between you and a Facebook account. That is impersonal. But I have set it up. I'm a person. It's not that my Facebook account set me up, created me.
Yeah, it's difficult because most of the questions are just like superficial and nonsense. Someone said, but you talk about Krishna consciousness, but you haven't mentioned Kundalini. Why is this?
Why should I mention Kundalini? It has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. Kundalini is a mechanical process of leaving this material body. That's all. It's a mechanical process. Krishna consciousness is not a mechanical process. It's spontaneous. Bhakti is spontaneous. It's about feeling. Kundalini, anyone can learn this technique. You can leave the body by mastering this technique of Kundalini. But where are you going after? Do you know? Do you know how you're going to take birth next? You can become a dog. Do you know this? Your Kundalini will not help you. If you're committing sinful activities, you go down. You become a dog. Otherwise, how there's so many species in the world? Have you ever thought about it? Why there's so many varieties of animals, plants, species? Because everybody has a different desire. They'll be tested at the time of death. So it's not enough to practice Kundalini. You must become a devotee. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajate ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya saratat bhava bhavitaha. Whatever you think at the time of death, that state of being you will achieve, Krishna says. So if you think of Kundalini, you become Kundalini. Snake. If you think of Krishna, you go to Krishna. Bhaktya mam abhijanati, Krishna says, only by bhakti you can reach me. He doesn't speak of Kundalini. So we are reading here Bhagavad-gita. Don't bring non-related topics.
I think it's enough.
Okay.
Too many nonsense questions on TikTok.
All right. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Sriman Bhagavad-gita ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Namaste Paraya Krishtavastaya Bhurtari Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Samanina Namana Namaste Saraswati Gurvani Vracharya Nirvishvesha Shunavari Pascharya.
It's a heavy punk, these classes.
Yeah.
Heavy punk rock.
Heavy punk and just I can't even do it because it's so the same, you know. These people.
That's good.
How they're fighting with each other and how the devotees are fighting with them.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's very distracting.
Jai. Jai. Hari 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 Bol. Namaste Padaya Krishna Vastaya Murti Shrimad Bhagavad-gita Samhita Namaste Saraswati Devi Guru Bracharina Nirvishesha Shunnavari Vachakiri. Jai. Namaste Padaya Krishna Vastaya Murti Shrimad Bhagavad-gita Samhita Namaste Saraswati Devi Guru Bracharina Nirvishesha.